Hey everybody, my name is Roberto F. Santiago, and I'm here to read some poems from my new collection, Like Sugar, which is out on November 6th from Nomadic Press. I'm really excited about it. It's been a long time coming. There's a few pushbacks because of this pandemic thing, but it's coming out. So I'm really excited to kind of be here with you. All right, so I'll just start reading some poems. First poem is titled Domestic. I watched a man put his hands through a woman, breaking each of his fingers. They fell to the ground like a goldfish from a fat, clear baggie. I kept my head down, dragged it across the carpet. His knuckles burst open like the first buds in March. Ragged, pink breathing. I would like to say that if I was a woman's husband, I wouldn't do this. But I'm not so sure. That is failure. This next one is Fleur de Mayo, or Fleur de Mayo. Depends on how you want to pronounce it. Forgive me, reader. I only write the way most people pray. When their mother thinks they should, whenever they need something, when all else fails. To blame someone for everything, to be braver than I was in real life, to retroactively become the hero of a story, any story. To highlight my lineage, poetic or otherwise, to be a more authentic version of myself for you. But I'm just another asshole pretending my take on darkness and light is more important than the next person on the next page of a journal nobody reads unless they're in it. Add another line to that CV. Forgive me, reader. I only write to steal, grind, mince, and julienne, much to the chagrin of my mentors, to gnaw the leather in a corner like a bad dog to dub, and fawn over images and conversations overheard at the farmer's market. To make myself something greater than the sum of its swollen parts. Initially, I began the first draft of this poem with, "In my Jerusalem, there were 1,000,000 men with 2,000,000 hands." I hated that couplet. Shook my head in disgust, but I let those lines simmer in the sludge for another day, and on my way to work I saw a melted ice cream sandwich on the sidewalk, and I immediately thought, gee, this would make a wonderful poem about the hardships young people of color face every day. I titled that poem, Self-Portrait as a Melted Ice Cream Sandwich in the Hood. That poem was only one line. What dick would let good ice cream go to waste? Then I thought, oh my God, that is awesome. I totally nailed suffering and iniquity. In triumph, I hummed a few bars from Suddenly Seymour, whispered, "I'm sorry, doctor," when I bumped into a muscle bear in scrubs on Bart. He smiled. When I finally got to work, I crossed out everything in my reddest pen and scratched across that page, "Fuck this poem in the ass, no spit." This poem is titled Security is a Cockroach. Growing up poor meant plucking security from my cereal after it was half eaten. It meant my tiny security guards banded together, unfurling their crinkly wings into a blanket to keep me warm when Papi went to the white part of town, armed with a flashlight and his textbooks, so that he could afford cereal. All this is true, and I say it is because it is. And you know I'm right, because the city I grew up in belongs more to them than it could ever the rats, trash, fires, or even the black splats of gum and glass asleep in the concrete. What else do I have here? This next one is titled National Winter Garden Song. Shout out to anybody who knows the reference there. And if you don't, shout out to you too. Self-portrait as Satan eating macarons but calling them macaroons. Self-portrait as Sharon Olds writing cunt over and over again in a notebook. Self-portrait as that notebook. Self-portrait as now, and when I say now, I mean right now. Self-portrait as a sequence of lily white gutter lilies. Self-portrait as a small metal bowl of sweaty apples. Self-portrait as a skull that may or may not belong to a human. Self-portrait in velvet, crushed blackward to blue. Self-portrait of a naked man reading Hart Crane's Voyages 3. Self-portrait as I blow him, though I'm not really into it. Self-portrait as him enjoying me not enjoying it. Self-portrait covered in the sweat of two men. Self-portrait as roiling shades of dark. Self-portrait as a boy too afraid to say anything. Self-portrait as I had it coming. Self-portrait as God's wrath or plague. Self-portrait as I was, or I still am. Self-portrait as lavender in blonde. Self-portrait as a man, or woman, or not. Self-portrait in turquoise as someone I don't want to be. This next one is titled Little Wings, and it's my partner's favorite, apparently. He even wrote that on this version. This is my fave. So, this is for him. Little Wings. Across the creek, a boy will collect his belongings from a picnic blanket. He will place them into his red and black gym bag full of books and booze and warm-smelling underclothes. After months without rain, this creek will become a sea. More than an altar for little wings and rubber branches. That day will not be remarkable by any measure. It will be a faded, well-worn corduroy. A hand-me-down sky thick like bacon fat and oily grayish. The second boy will stand less than an arm's length from the first. He will take several beats to register what he just heard, to catch his breath, to find a feeling, any feeling. And as he does, the sky will fall to the ground in fragments of sound like a minibar's worth of glass bottles smashing against a wall or a drawer of silverware spilling onto the kitchen tile. The wind will judder the surface of the creek like a cough you try to hold in, a dulcet bass. The wind will birch the first boy's near blonde curls about his long, sharp face. He's a lovely, almost unexpected lovely. Another person with his features would have not been assembled so perfectly they would have been all right angles and sandpaper. The first boy looks like an Evan, so Evan he shall be. His cheeks are cream-bruised raspberry. He's lanky in an elegant way, an egret fashioned from pipe cleaners and piano wire. The second boy looks like a hero in a novela, but not as a man, as a schoolboy, for regret, for potential, only seen in retrospect. His face is soft as olive oil, his hair unmoving in the wind, knows its place. He looks like a child soldier before he knows he is one. The second boy looks like a Ronaldo, so Ronaldo he shall be. His arms are too long, his torso too short. He has the legs of a minotaur, built to spar and take on water. Even through his jeans, he looks like a kickboxer. At this very bank, they will jab at each other beneath a sludge sky. The billabong will become a river. The crumbling firmament will resurrect all the mosquitoes that ever lived. The sounds of them hatching from their wintry graves will awaken a battalion of blue-jeweled dragonflies. Dragonflies can lie dormant for years. They thrive on yearning. The rain, like most good things, will only last a few short moments. When the sun returns to its rightful place, the zither of insects will fill the creek. Evan will apologize as he is wont to do. Ronaldo will accept, mapping a constellation with his fingertips from the hairs along Evan's jaw, the ones he always manages to miss. And there, in the mire, Ronaldo will undress Evan. Perhaps it will be the other way around, a dance of buttons and sleeves. Evan will be so eager he won't remember his socks. Ronaldo will take his time. There will be nothing left but gravity on him. Gravity, near blonde, and the wings of a million dragonflies.
Seven real pretty in the face, bad in the ass. Do you wanna taste? This is Puerto Rican bean guy from La Isla Bonita. Queen Daddy is a stone cold three. I got the chitty bang bang, got the champagne for your man in the gang gang. About the grandstand, if you can't hand, bust that ass at the fast lane, cause it's Vanjie sis. Legendary fish, eating in a bottle of poppers, bitch. Got these hoes out here after just one wish saying,